this week, one of the most important, some important things happened. There was a celebrity who was getting marrying 2 wives. He's the ex-men's conference chairman. Apparently, he spent 70 million on the wedding. And on the other hand, the same day, literally, we had the Kenya Chief of Defense who was getting married in a very simple ceremony that he specifically had asked for. So I'm sure everybody had time to analyze this. So I wanted us to discuss what are the powerful lessons we may have learned from the wedding and then the funeral. Maybe we start with the wedding.
For me, the wedding, I would say this. One thing is that I think even a lot of people, what we do is we spend a lot of time preparing for the wedding and not preparing for the marriage. And what happens is the flamboyant aspect of it all, saying even a figure like 70 million, you spent even 100 million, or even you spent even as little as even 10,000 shillings on the wedding itself, is meant as even more or less like an outward portrayal that indeed this is the effort that we've put towards the wedding, and hence is now supposed to give us now the outside people that indeed we're putting as much effort as we should in our marriage, when in fact the most of the effort should actually be put towards the marriage, when you now actually now discuss things like how are we gonna discuss our finances amongst each other, how are we actually gonna spend the rest of our lives with each other. Because when a lot of our efforts now are spent in the wedding and the wedding is now done, you see, we're talking about it in past tense, but guess what's going on right now? The marriage. The headache of knowing that indeed this individual is now with me permanently for the rest of their lives. So now the question is this: are you willing to spend more time preparing for the wedding or preparing for the marriage? That's now the main thing.
I have conflicted ideas on spending on the wedding. The younger me, if it was me, I would spend a lot. But right now, it's really hard. On that note, when you are getting married, it doesn't matter how much you spend. It really doesn't. Eventually, you get to that institution, and I don't like calling it settling down because people settle with even the wrong things. But I feel if you are spending on the wedding, it is okay, there's no problem. But eventually you realize that it was a one-day event and it didn't even matter. It wasn't even a big deal, by the way. Most of the time you yourself forget and then start thinking of the important things like, where's my ring, where are the pictures, and who are my friends after that. However, it is also wise not to do the same. But why are you telling someone who has 70 million to spend, not to spend on the wedding? What are they going to do with the money? So if you have the money, it is your day. Splurge as much as you can. What I have an issue with is, why 2 wives? That is the only thing I would have an issue with.
Why not?
Because let's not diverge there. So I know in terms of, number one, if somebody is spending the 70 million and they have the 70 million, I don't see a problem. And in fact, it's a really good thing. I will tell you why. If you guys follow me on social media, or you know I'm a reality star, and this week something very important was happening. The American ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, there was the American Chamber of Commerce summit that was going on, business summit, and she recognized the Real Housewives of Nairobi. And in recognizing, it's a show that I'm a main cast on, she was saying the creative economy is actually holds the key. Right now, it's contributing 8% to the GDP. And this is what it's a really good thing, because we have all these artists, these young people from school. And what people don't realize is that, yes, we are quick to condemn people to spend 70 million, but you have somebody who's got 70 million to spare, to blow it up on one day. The ripple effect is that imagine how much money has been recirculated in that economy. Imagine all the cultural people who made the clothes, imagine the artists, imagine the money that was put into the economy in the region, in the area where this event happened is immense. And therefore, it's a way in which we rebalance the economy. if you have 70 million and there's somebody else without. And it is so important. This is what I'm always even telling the hotels. The hotels may at the coast or wherever they are. Don't do everything. Don't, like, you're offering a full service. People come to sleep, eat, do everything there. Let your guests leave the hotel. Good. Let them get into the community. Let them buy a cup of coffee. Let them buy some of the artist work. Let them money recirculate. And that's how we shall live well. So whoever you are, I cannot mention your name. Well done. You've contributed to the creative economy.
Interesting.
Yes.
CEO, what do you say?
I think, first of all, I have two issues with the wedding. One is that the gentleman married one wife, so he's just doing a political roundup, and it's good to hype the crowd. The gentleman did not marry two wives, he married one wife, and it's a wife he's always had. So he was just going to pay dowry. So most of these things, I doubt whether it was 70 million. And you know, when people are seeking for political office, you must have to create a buzz. And he's trying to create a buzz for himself so that he can run in that region, so that people can know him. And what comes into mind is a flamboyance. If you are very flamboyant, it helps you not to do so many political rallies in the hinterland from where he comes from. So one, I'm sure he didn't spend 70 million on that, what you call a stadium wedding. It wasn't a stadium wedding, it was just the vows they exchanged, and this is the person they were already with. Number two, it's also good that people out there know that the gentleman was not marrying two wives, he was just marrying his wife. But for political reasons, he wanted people for the attraction of the audiences and the crowd and the vibe. And so he had to bring all that. But it is good if you have 70 million, as Dr.C says, spend it so that people can get the money.
I guess so. Do you? And what about the funeral aspect?